What's up? Okay, so today is Sunday. It is the 15th of September 2019. And that makes tomorrow, Monday, the 16th of September 2019. And it's the first day the flu shots are going to be available at USC pharmacies. So go get your flu shot. Nobody wants to get knocked out by the flu and have your stay at USC be compromised. Okay, so, all right, so we're going to go into the class right here, 0200, all right, awesome. There's the crack team that we've spoken so much about. Don't forget that I'm constantly sending out these videos as announcements, so if you're new to the class, you can see these announcements right here, okay? There's a lot of how-to stuff if you're new to the class right in there. And I just want to remind you that your critical thinking assignment is coming up. It's due on the 23rd. And speaking of how-to assignments, what I did is I just sent out a video last week, how to do your CT1. So what you do is you click right here. That was in the announcements. I also stuck it right here in terms of the assignment. Okay, so again, you just need to follow the directions very clearly. And then we make sure that you've done everything we asked you to do, and we use this kind of rubric right here. Okay, so again, to get to this right here, you're just going to click on that. And let's see who comes up. Oh, it's me. Today is September 12th. So that was a while ago. All right, so I actually show a great picture of Cotton's Point on that video too. You can also get to this right here by scrolling down and looking at the announcements. And where is it? Right there. All right, it's how to do CT1. All right, so you can go there either way. All right, cool. So we're going to go into this week's assignments. Okay. What you do, you scroll down here. Okay, we're now ending into a little bit of biology. All right, a little bit of biology, very relevant to you guys. Okay, it's great to understand what's going on biologically in terms of your parents aging, your grandparents aging, and your future aging. Okay, because you know what? Guess what? You can't avoid it. All right. It's just all part of life, and being an informed consumer about this stuff is going to make you a much better citizen. It's going to make you successful. Okay, you're bombarded constantly with nutritional supplements that in some ways are based on this theoretical aspects of aging, and importantly, most of the new medication that's out there is based on understanding the biology of aging. Okay, why is that so important? Well, all you need to do is next time you go to the hospital, I want you, as you walk down the hallway, I want you to be just a little bit nosy. You look inside each room. What do you see? Okay, you see old people. Okay, that is medicine. That is healthcare. Old young people, you're going to be in the hospital because you've had an accident, you got some kind of crazy infection, something like that. But old people have these chronic diseases of aging that put them in the hospital. Diabetes, heart disease, atherosclerosis that leads to heart disease and heart attacks, lung diseases, brain diseases like stroke, Parkinson's, on and on and on. Your immune system is compromised because you're older, cancers, it's all part of aging. Right, so let's look at our aging theory then, and we'll then see why this is so applied. All right. So again, this is just a guideline, an exposure to some of the different aspects of the field of aging. Okay, and think about what I've just said. Okay. Again, these are theories. Okay, and sometimes you'll find that one person in France will develop a theory, and somebody else in Denver, Colorado will develop a theory. And ultimately, they're looking at the same problem from different directions. And so what happens is they're very overlapping, and you have to kind of bring it all together in terms of your complete understanding. And I'm just going to rifle through this so that you do understand this, okay? Alrighty. Again, the modifying the course of aging is like a new hot topic because it's going to be some of the genes that get activated, some of the problems that happen in terms of, you're going to learn about oxidative damage. This is why we take our antioxidant vitamins and minerals. This is why we eat our blueberries and our green veggies, okay? And it's, it is all going after what's been observed in terms of aging, okay? There's certainly lots of evidence that in terms of our westernized, okay, developed countries, our biggest problem is that we were not supposed to have such unlimited access to food, okay? You look at our ancestors, you know, my Irish ancestor would be running around Ireland half naked. We would kill something, we would eat it, then we might have to go a week with like next to nothing to eat, okay? And then we'd come upon a big old thing of berries and eat that. And then, you know, and then you'd go 4 days without anything to eat, okay? So we're programmed, that wasn't so long ago, you know, that. So we're programmed to anytime we see food, we eat it, okay? And the problem is in, you know, industrialized, developed, westernized, whatever you call it, societies, there's unlimited access to unlimited food. You know, all you need to do is go out to dinner at the Cheesecake Factory and you get a plate about that big, okay? And you eat it all because evolutionarily you're like, hey, next week there might not be any food, so I better eat it all, okay? And it leads to problems like obesity and diet-related diseases like cancer, atherosclerosis. Okay, so you just got to restrict your caloric intake, okay? Eat healthy, all right? Basically, try to avoid processed food, okay? If man has made it like a Twinkie, you got some issues, okay? So all you need to do is eat natural food. Eat avos, eat greens. You know, if you're going to eat meat, you know, that's okay. But you just got to limit the intake and limit the calories. Okay, so we're going to talk about lots of things. There's going to be some evidence that's derived from looking at, you know, really, really short-lived animals, roundworms, fruit flies. My good friend Sean Kern works on a worm called C. elegans. They live a couple of days. Fruit flies, maybe a week. You know, mice, you know, maybe 2 years. So you can study aging in these guys. So anything, you know, if you make a fruit fly so that it lives a week longer, then what a huge manipulation. And then maybe we can do it in mice. It works. Then we can start looking at it in humans. Okay. We're going to talk about diet. Everybody's heard of insulin and diabetes. Okay. And we get insulin resistance in diabetes. Okay. And which is a really horrible aspect of kind of our current westernized, developed countries, and it's totally diet-related, okay, and you develop obesity and all kinds of problems related to these hormones. These hormones are all about growing, and when you grow too much, too quickly, you get lots and lots of damage in cells that doesn't have time to get repaired because next thing you know, boom, cell division. Okay, awesome. Alrighty, so let's just quickly go through some of these concepts, okay? One of the first observations is you start looking at the building blocks in your cells, okay? You look at the fatty outer membrane, okay? It's kind of like a water balloon and it's the rubber, okay? And they started noticing that the lipids were, you know, instead of really lined up and perfect, they were all funky, you know, because they got all cross-linked and messed up. Same thing happened in proteins. Same thing happened in your blueprint of life, your DNA, and then there's other little recipes called RNA. They got modified, and how they get modified is stuff like oxidation that you guys have heard about, and why you take your antioxidants. Okay, here's my perfectly linked DNA, but it gets oxidized. Okay, it's like this. Okay, and then it grabs and grabs and grabs. Okay, and cross-links, and it no longer functions. Okay, and those are my recipes for making every beautiful cell. Those are my recipes for making the proteins found in cell. The chefs are proteins that read the recipes, and they're messed up. All right, so you can see how this was first observed. Why is that happening? Well, that's a good question. So then you look into other things. Okay, there's examples of this cross-linking. Okay, I said oxidation. Another thing happens is in diabetes, you have too much glucose. That's a fancy name for too much freaking glucose. All right, glycation. Okay, sugar attaches to a molecule like that, and it's cross-linked, and it won't work. And this is what happens in diabetics all throughout their bodies. Okay, beta amyloid is another protein that is an example of cross-linking. This one happens in people with Alzheimer's disease. All right, very, very cool. Okay, so that's kind of what that's all about. Okay, there's this kind of evolutionary concept, and there's a big part of it, you can click on this, is this concept of, why do we have to talk this way? Dummy scientists, okay? They make life so difficult. Just like doctors, they use a whole new language. It's like they're speaking, Greek or Spanish or whatever, okay? All right, so antagonistic, okay? What does that mean? Okay, they're opposing, okay? If something is antagonistic, there's opposing directions, okay? All right, sometimes your boyfriend can be antagonistic. It's an opposing direction from, where your viewpoint is, okay? And then pleiotropy, okay? These are, it's a fancy name for the mechanism of life force, okay? Alrighty, so 2 antagonistic mechanisms for life force, okay? Now, what's an example of this, okay? All right, we need growth, all right? So having this growth hormone that was mentioned earlier, insulin and IGF-1 is crucial when you're developing, okay? So that's why we have it. However, over the lifetime, excess causes problems. Good early, bad later. All right, perfect, okay? What's another example, okay? When we look at brain damage, okay, so this is P53. This is what we use to, first of all, try and fix damage. And if the damage is too extensive, really crucial in cancer cells, keeping them, because you have lots of mutations in cancer cells, our cells will boom, 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 hit it with this P53. You can learn all about it, okay? It's called a tumor suppressor gene. It will activate and it will kill the cell off. Beautiful. That's the good. Bad is when you have too much P53 in your brain and you have a head injury, big, massive chunks of brain die off. You have too much P53 over a lifetime in your brain. What do you get? You get Alzheimer's disease. So it's kind of a, good for keeping away cancer, bad for your brain if you live too long. So there's lots and lots and lots of examples of these kind of antagonistic pleiotropy. How about stress hormones, okay? You gotta secrete a bunch of stress hormones when a lion's chasing your butt, okay? So you'll survive, okay? But if you are psychologically stressed your whole life, that's not what it was designed for, okay? And it eats you up down the line. Antagonistic pleiotropy. Okay, see this mitochondria? Oh man, that's a big one. Big theory in terms of aging. All right. What do we have here? We have this disposable soma, meaning that a disposable soma means you can afford to lose certain parts of your body, certain cells, okay? That's what the soma means. Soma means cell, all right? What does it mean? Bottom line is we're going to make you grow and become big and strong so that you can reproduce like no tomorrow. Did you know that as college students right now, in terms of evolution, you guys are in your late teens and early 20s, you should have 6 or 7 kids already. That's what your bodies are designed for. All right? So it's grow, 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 reproduce, reproduce. It's antagonistic pleiotropy once again. Okay? We can't keep having that driving force. It then derails later on. Okay. Then we look at the maintenance of our blueprint, our cookbook, your genome. It's found inside your nucleus of your cells, and when it gets mutated, okay, maybe because you had so much growth, you never repaired your mutations, then that's going to come back to bite you in the behind later on in life. All right, so that's what that's all about. Okay, here's linking it. Okay, neuroendocrine hypothesis of aging. There's a couple things. One is our stress hormone system I was talking about. Good when you're being chased in the line, bad when you're worried about what your future holds 30 years down the line, okay? We also have changes in reproductive hormones, and this is the big one on diet, again, insulin and IGF-1 pathways. Again, these are hormones that are released in response to what you're putting in your mouth and eating on a daily basis, okay? And so there's a big push on that good to grow, to become reproductive, bad to keep eating in your 30s and 40s and 50s like you were 20, okay? You keep driving the system and then nothing but problems evolve later on. You then drive the system without repair to have damage, and you get stuff like heart disease and cancer and diabetes. All right, Alrighty, how do we neutralize this stuff? Okay, antioxidants. Dun, 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 dun. Remember when acai berry was all the rage? How about green tea? Okay, you know what a great way of building up your own antioxidants is? Exercise. Okay, alrighty. So it talks about mitochondria. Okay, mitochondria is kind of like your car engine. All right, it's where all the power comes from, and just like your car engine, you have a little exhaust pipe. Well, unfortunately, the mitochondria have an exhaust pipe, and it talks about it right here, okay, where it spews out these free radicals, okay, and these free radicals cause oxidation of your proteins, your DNA, lipids, and it just trashes the whole system. So anything you can do, like drink green tea, okay, like exercise, to reduce the damage is going to protect you from disease and aging, okay? What promotes it? Did I mention you got to stop eating so much? Okay, that promotes it right there. Okay, alrighty. So that is a quick run through of this. Okay, it talks a little bit here about replication hypothesis in aging. You only have so many cell divisions. Okay, and that's gonna explain why Dr. Walsh's skin's all saggy and messed up. Okay, because I'm not producing the skin cells that I did when I was in my 20s. Okay. It also means that I produce less sperm. Thank you, Jesus. Okay, so that I am no longer reproducing, and it becomes a big part of a fertility problem in men. Is that as you get older, you stop producing as much sperm, so your sperm count goes down, and because of all the damage that I was talking about, a lot of your sperm are tweaked. Okay, so a big part of infertility is not women; it's men. Okay, I'm not saying that women don't have issues too. And we're going to talk about that right now. All right, so that's the point of this thing right here, okay? All right, you do the quiz, and then here's the reproduction and aging sequence. All right, so what I want you to do is just kind of familiarize with yourself with fertility issues, all right? Both male and female. So these are two good sites talking about the female fertility issues. I really like this site. It's actually a private group that does fertility counseling and fertility treatment for women, and they lay it out real nicely. We'll go into their site secondarily. And then this right here is by the American Pregnancy Association, and they talk about injections that you will, and drugs you can take to make yourself a super ovulator, which is what I talk about right here, meaning that instead of having 1 or 2 eggs cycle through when you're fertile, okay, once a month, how about like 20 eggs, okay? All right, so that's what these drugs do, and that's why you get pregnancies that can have 4, 5, 6, 7 kids, things like that. Okay, all right. Unlikely when you get older, and that's why you use these injections when you get older. So let's take a look at this website and discuss a little bit what we're talking about. All right. So again, very informative. Okay. So why do you guys need to know that? Like I said, you guys should have 6 kids, but what are you going to do? Okay. As women, you're going to try and get yourself together, okay? You're going to wait to meet the right guy if that's the way you're going, okay? And there's a good chance you might have to work. You might have to get yourself ahead professionally, okay? So you're going to delay your pregnancy. Maybe a lot of you are thinking, I'm not getting pregnant until I'm 30 because I want to get my life in order. Let's take a look what happens here. All right, so here you go. You're getting into your prime in terms of birth rate, and then all of a sudden, it just falls off immediately. Okay, why is the birth rate so low here? Well, that's because people practice birth control. If there was no birth control and people were doing their thing like bunnies, the birth rate for youth would be all the way up here. Okay, but this is just statistics. Okay, here you're trying like hell to get pregnant, but something has gone wrong. Okay. You become infertile. All righty. So that's what this is all about. And it's kind of an eye-opener. All right. You spend your whole life trying not to get pregnant, and then lo and behold, you can't get pregnant. So what companies will do when you're having issues, okay, is they're going to see what your fertility potential is. And this explains the pharmacology behind what they're doing. So they're going to look at how many eggs you have in your ovaries right here, and they're going to try and kick them out, okay? All right, so it's called an ovarian reserve test, okay? And there's a couple different ways of doing this, okay? We can make you a super ovulator with a drug that causes a lot of eggs to come out called clomiphene citrate, or we can inject you with FSH and see how many eggs will come out in response to a known concentration of FSH. And the key is a known concentration, because then we can compare your eggs that are produced, how many are produced, and the quality of those eggs to hundreds of thousands, really millions of women that have had this done previously, right? Where do you rank? That's what that's all about, okay? So you figure that out. And this explains, again, what's going on in terms of the ability to get pregnant as a function of age, okay? So when you look up here, they talk about what happens here, the feedback, okay, that happens, okay? You actually produce more and more and more FSH the older you get, but what happens, it's less effective, right? So the number of births goes down and down and down and down as a function of age, okay? Why is it less effective? Because less eggs are being kicked out, right? So one way of going after that is we'll make you a super ovulator and give you a ton of FSH. There are side effects. Your ovaries will feel like, instead of being this big, they'll feel like this, they're like this big, okay? Alrighty. This is the other drug I talked about, Clomiphene. And there's a quick little short instructional video that you can watch on it. And again, this Clomiphene makes a lot of eggs come out. And it's just measuring the potential for your ovaries to release eggs, okay? Another hormone that works, there's a whole section on that you just click right here that kicks out the eggs. And this again explains how we're gonna count the number of eggs that get stimulated to be released in your ovaries. And that's what this follicle count is. Remember, this was illustrated up here, okay? Not here, sorry. It was illustrated right here, okay? So these are your follicles right here. So this is the one hormone, okay, that gets, released in the process too, all part of looking at your fertility potential. All right, so that's what that's all about. The next one right here is the meds. So like I said, in fact, I got to put a space right here, and I will. Now, I say right here, do know that in vitro fertilization is the last thing you're going to do. We'll show that down here to get pregnant, okay, when you are infertile, okay? Because you're going to use drugs initially, all right? Because in vitro fertilization can cost you $10,000, $15,000, $20,000, whereas these drugs are reasonable, all right? So this is what you start right here. We try and pump your own ovaries up to produce eggs, okay? They move multiple eggs to ovulate simultaneously, all right? And this talks about it right here. So you can get into this website, boom, all right? All right, and I'm going to actually increase the size of the website, all right? And so you see right here, it again talks about these drugs that are used, all right? So it's called Clomid, which is the drug company name for clomiphene citrate, okay? And what it causes you to do is stimulates ovulation in women, multiple eggs, all right? If you have multiple eggs, what's a potential side effect? How about lots of multiple births? Let's talk twins, triplets, quadruplets, things like that, okay? By pushing eggs out, it changes your hormones, so it's going to cause these other problems right here. All right, here's another one, okay, that's important, that modulates ovulation. And then, like I said, you can inject FSH that causes your ovaries to do its thing as well, put out lots. Again, side effects, multiple births, okay? The hormone imbalance can cause this, and this, okay? Alrighty. Did I say you're going to have enlarged ovaries? You will. Okay. Alrighty. So that's really, really informative and something to think about. I know you guys aren't thinking about it right now, but you will. Okay? Then these are two really nicely done videos that explain in vitro fertilization.
The menstrual cycle of fertile
There's your
women
ovaries.
usually lasts about
Okay?
a month.
So
During this
imagine
time,
drugs
and
going
under
in
the
there and
influence of the
stimulate
body's
these
own
guys
natural
to
hormones,
just
a
not
tiny
stick
sac
out one
within the
egg,
ovary containing
let's
an
say
egg grows to about
15.
the size of a grape.
Boom.
At a
Okay?
point midway in
Right.
the cycle,
Not every
this
egg
egg is released
makes it.
from the ovary
Okay?
and
That's the way it
ovulation
works.
occurs.
All right. And then this is right here, a video looking at an actual in vitro fertilization lab, and it explains how it's
The culture media is highly specialized
all
for
right.
each stage of
So
embryo development.
here we can stimulate the eggs,
The first
surgically
procedure
remove them.
most
So you have what's
patients
called
undergo is an egg retrieval.
a
After
small
your
little
identity is
eccentric
verified by an
incision,
embryologist, a
laparoscopy. You
reproductive
remove the eggs,
endocrinologist
okay,
aspirates the
and
fluid
then
contained in each
you put them in
embryo.
a petri dish. You let them grow. You take the sperm donor, your boyfriend, your husband, or whoever. You put it in there, and you can let the embryos grow, okay, to about the 8-cell stage, and then you put them back in to the uterus of the woman. Like I said, men, we got issues too, okay? And it shows you right here. This is a really cool article. It's a little scientific, but the bottom line is take a look at this. Not only do we have less sperm, but dang, look what happens to our sperm quality as we get older, okay? So we're looking at a number of different problems that are shown here, and basically the likelihood of having children with autism goes up when you're an older father. Children with bipolar goes up when you have an older father. Substance abuse goes up. Just school problems, on and on and on. So it's really, really clear that we got our issues too. Okay, guys. So that is an overview of this. Don't forget to get your CT1 in, and I think I'll leave it like that. I hope this is food for thought. I'm going to be sticking my discussion right in here, guys, and we'll see you next time.